Good afternoon. My name is Karl. I'm founder and CEO of Join. Join is based in San Francisco, California. We are revolutionizing the way that networks are deployed. And our mission statement is listed up here on the screen is about connecting people to their work. What I'm going to do today is I'm first going to tell you a little bit about what we as a company do. I'm going to talk primarily about how we address or what some of the risks are with regard to or cyber risk, not only vis-a-vis what a lot of people have been talking about here, which is for building management systems, but also for your tenants. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we address it, how traditional strategies simply fail, and how we address it. And then if there are any questions afterward, I'll be happy to address them. Let me give you a little walkthrough on us. Join is founded about 2.5 years ago, with the sponsorship of several large Fortune 500 companies that saw a fundamental shift in the way information technology is consumed. We all know that what Amazon has done to computing, and frankly to storage of data. We know what Salesforce started 20 years ago in changing the way software is consumed, or at least applications are consumed. And what we're doing is the same thing really to the network. The idea is that we can actually deploy a network or the edge of the cloud, which is where everything resides nowadays, in an OpEx-centric, not CapEx fashion that is managed and that lives in the cloud. And that's really what we do. We focus primarily on delivering services over our own network. We don't interact with all the other carriers. We've built our own, and we deliver IT services over that network. If you look at a traditional way that companies deploy, these are tenants, or frankly, even building owners deploy networks in their buildings, there's a hodgepodge of vendors they have to deal with. They're vendors for circuits, they're vendors for hardware. They've got to put all these things together and make them work. The magic that we bring to the table now is that we provide all of this as an on-demand service. We build our own tech stack from the hardware, frankly, from the optics on up to the software, and we deliver that as an on-demand service in partnership with the owners of commercial real estate assets. Now, I want to shift to the main topic that I want to talk about here, which is cybersecurity risk. And one of the big issues that we're seeing more and more, and we read about more and more, is the attacks or threats that come from third parties, not insiders, but from third parties attacking corporate networks. And those corporate networks also include, by the way, the networks that are operated by building owners to which they connect their building management systems, their sensors, and other sorts of IoT devices. This is a real live, it's not live, but it's a real output of a scan that we did in about 80 sites around the country. This is from one particular site. This is a real output of a Wi-Fi scan of a name brand co-working provider, probably known to many of you here. This is the level. While everybody thinks I'm safe because I'm using a VPN or I'm encrypting my data or whatnot, what they don't realize is I can actually see all their devices. I can see your Android phone. I can see which Mac you have. I can see your MAC address. I can get all this data. And to a malicious outsider, I can now install a botnet and automate or create a cron job to go scan this on a continuous basis to figure out where there are vulnerabilities. And the reality is that we have, in many ways, been far too complacent about cybersecurity. I mean, we can talk about passwords, we can talk about VPNs and other things, but the reality is that many companies are far too complacent. If we weren't, we would not be seeing the sorts of enormous breaches in companies like Equifax and Target and so forth. Our view is very simple, and that is that traditional ways of addressing cybersecurity are simply inadequate. The reality is that conventional networking technologies are really designed to allow for discovery of what other resources are sitting on a network. And the problem is this opens up your neighbor network. So if you're a tenant in a building, the Wi-Fi network next door could very easily become, or your network could easily become a target of your neighbors. And so our approach has been very, very simple. We work together with the owner. We secure the entire building and all of the network connectivity into that building to our private cloud. Our cloud is where we have all of our own connections to the public internet, to public clouds, to data centers, to SaaS providers. We then put in place our own cybersecurity elements at that border, which is where we deflect and or detect and then deflect threats. It's where we protect against intrusions and so forth. And then we provide the entire solution into the building, not only for the tenant, but also for the building management system. So if you look at the rise of cameras, various IoT devices, we provide all of those elements their own private network that is secured by us. The premise on which we do this is something called zero trust. It's actually a new concept. It's a concept that's come about in the last couple of years. It's the notion that in a world where we have mobile workers, we have our work, that which we work on is sitting in the cloud, we don't have traditional perimeters anymore. And so therefore we need not to trust who you are because of where you are in a building or in an office, but because of who you are. And so zero trust simply says that we don't trust anybody or anything. We validate devices and we validate users independent of where they are. And only those users are the ones that get access to the network resources or the services that we deliver. And that's really the fundamental premise of what Join has built on zero trust. To summarize, let me talk a little bit about our business model. Most providers today deliver services that are based on old models such as bandwidth and selling bits and bandwidth and so forth. Our model is very simple. We bring terabits of bandwidth into a site, into a building. We charge per user, per service type. There's no hardware to assemble. No, it's not an IKEA model where you've got to go get 8 or 10 boxes to work together. We take care of all of that. It's an on-demand service. You pay for a subscription. You pay for it as your organization grows or shrinks. You pay more or you pay less. And we believe that fundamentally applying SaaS business model principles to the network, as well as all of our cybersecurity, is what is going to change the way IT is consumed in the offices, both of today and of the future. And I thank you very much for your time.